Hello everybody. So it's a beautiful day. Not a good day to catfish. But after what I went through on the Mississippi the other day, I'm ready for a beautiful day. So the water temperature is 54 degrees. It's kind of chilly. So I'm gonna concentrate on these banks that's facing the sun. It's where all the bait will be, that's where all your catfish will be. Then we'll work our way into some deeper water and more current. But this has got a pretty good backflow going that way. I've got some bigger shad and a couple Asian carp about that long. But I'm gonna start out with my littler shad because I ain't got a lot of big shad until we go to seeing them poles dump real hard. So we don't have a lot of current here, so I'm gonna use a 3-ounce, hoping that that'll trigger a heavier bite. The lighter the sinker you can get away with, the better off you are. Just sometimes around these dams you can't get away with 3-ounce very often. But I'm gonna go to flinging some poles and see what we come up with. So I probably ain't gonna set very long at each place, just due to the fact that I think that, I don't know, we just ain't gonna set very long at each place. So as it progresses into the winter time, the fish, if they're there, they're gonna bite pretty quick. It's been my experience. A lot of people will say differently, but I've always found out that you move a lot in the winter. I think what happens is they're more, they're not as selective on their bait. So if they see that bait and smell it, they're gonna come to it and get it because they're not active, they're not feeding. So when something presents itself, they're gonna hammer towards it. I try to use as small as bait as I can in the winter time. It's about like that. I'm doubling up on seeing if I could get more scent in the water. Now then, if it goes ahead and gets cloudy today, you might find them fish in different kinds of places, but I think they're gonna be in this sunlight. Nice 3 or 4 pound blue. Good first fish. You don't have to necessarily go to the deepest holes in the winter time. You want to go to the warmest holes. Wherever that sun's heating up the, humps is a real good place. Wherever the bottom's got mud on it instead of sand, that mud heats up quicker. Places like that where the sun's just hammering on it. I don't think that there's any monsters here. That one on the left-hand pole while ago when I was reeling that fish in was a pretty good one. But it's worth sitting here and trying for a little bit. I think that's a littler one. But they seem to be biting pretty good. This is the 4th day after the cold front, and they always bite really good on the 4th day after a cold front. Now then, the challenge is going to be find us a big one. And that's another thing, guys. As the water gets cooler and colder, the smaller your bait you run, the more apt you are to get a good one. I've caught 100-pound fish on bait that size right there. And that's what I like to do. I like to take those 3 or 4 inch shad and cut them right behind their gut pocket right there. It causes them to, right behind their gut pocket right there. It causes them to bleed really good. Then I'll cut a slit in them further up. And that causes them to bleed a little bit more. It puts more scent into the water. And I hope it stays cloudy all day. I feel like the bright sunshine concentrates the fish a little bit more, but I feel like the cloud cover makes the big ones bite. We're gonna have to find some bigger ones, guys. All there is to it. I wonder if these two are tangled up. They sure act like it. They sure ain't fighting very hard today. That's the deal. We were in such little ones that they ain't getting hooked. Of course, that would be a good eating size. Another skinny 3-pound blue. I'm gonna throw this one out there for a little bit longer. We ain't gonna give them too much longer here, because we can always fish this place. Both of them posts just getting hammered as far as hammering goes. I thought that one on the right might have accidentally was gonna get hooked. If we would get one bite, yeah, I would say, hey, that was a good fish. I think it's just so loaded down with little ones that the big ones don't find your stuff. They are flat in here though. I see if you'd find a hole full of big ones, they would bite just as fast as these are. We're gonna give them about 10 more minutes and then we're gonna go see if we can scan some bigger fish. Come on, left-hand pole, be a good fish. Does not act like a good one. That's the deal, guys. They're just so doggone little. That it ain't even funny. Don't have to worry about not boat flipping him. We're gonna go hunt some bigger ones. If I was wanting to mess a fish, I would sit here with them. Cause you could fill up a cooler if you was to go to a hair smaller of a hook. But I'm gonna go scan around and find some bigger ones and then set up on them. Try it in some way shallower water for a little bit. I'm gonna put one pole up there in the 20-foot range. And it's about 25 right under the boat. 27. And there's a drop off right over to our left that I'm gonna put a bigger bait on. We didn't move a lot. I didn't want to get completely out of fish, but I wanted to fish that same school on the outskirts of it. I want to throw this bigger shad that's bleeding all over the place over to the left in the hair deeper water. We don't get a significant takedown here, we'll get into some heavier current. Yet we don't want to be in no full-on 3-mile-an-hour current, but I feel like that if we're in heavier current, it'll keep the littler ones pushed off. That left-hand pole's getting a pretty good bite. They sure ain't biting in here like it was the other place, but that could be a good thing. See guys, I feel like them bigger catfish keep the little ones whooped out like a cow around a feed trough or something. You always got your boss cow, your boss hog, you know, something like that. Well, them big catfish are the boss, so they keep the little ones whooped out. But we need to find that boss catfish. Not saying that you won't catch a little one with a big one, but usually if you find a big one, they like to hang out together. Come on, baby. Yeah. And that thing come off. That was a strip and drag. That's something else too, guys. Them bigger ones will always kind of be on the fringes of the school. I'm gonna give that about 5 minutes in case he wants to come back for it. Because in the wintertime, they will come back for it. And then we'll reel it in, check bait, and throw it right back out there. That was a pretty good fish. I think that if we adhere to what we got planned today, we'll catch a good one. Center pole. But you can see the way the difference in how them two fish was biting. That's a smaller fish. And then again, you never know. He might take off strip drag. See what I mean about taking off and strip and drag? mean, he's a pull and drag like a son of a gun. Sometimes all you gotta do is move 50 or 100 foot, get away from them little ones, get on the outside of the bend or outside of the school, you'll get a hold of a good one. God, I love the winter time. It's so easy to figure fish out in the winter. I'm gonna get him over here. Now then I'll bump my bait size up in this place for a little bit. He is not wanting to come up. He ain't no great old big monster. The bubble's coming up. That's a good one. He's dip net worthy. In the 30-pound range. He's a chunk of a fish. Good, healthy, pretty fish. I see he was soft biting, and then he just took off. Remember I said now here in a little bit that thing's liable to take off. Good 30-pounder. Shallow water blue, guys. And see, and that's the deal. You know, you automatically think it's cold outside. Let's go to the deep water. So, you know, we was on them small ones, 150, 200 foot over there. Moved over here in the shallower water where all the bait is, and we got us a good one. Had another good takedown. Time to throw a hair bigger of a shad. And that's something else too, guys. That thing bit on a 3-inch shad. Now then, do I think that there's any more down there? I kind of feel like they are. But we might have missed the other one. He might not come back for that. But see, that one fiddled around with it and fiddled around with it, and then he finally took off with it. That other one that bit that pole just took off and ran. But we're gonna reel it in and get some more bait on it, because he got the bait, or he'd already be back after it. Or another one. Now then, with that being said, so basically a good rule of thumb with any kind of wintertime fishing is, if the air temperature is warmer than the water temperature, you go shallow. If the air temperature is colder than the water, you go deep. Ready for another. That was fun. I think that first one that bit was bigger than that one. And guys, something else too. I've been here 26 minutes, had them good takedowns, everything. That fish probably took 10 minutes to get in. So less than 15 minutes. The first bite was less than 5 minutes, the first good takedown. The other one wasn't too far behind it. So don't hesitate. If you do not like where you're at, you're getting them little bites, don't hesitate to move. Because when you get a bait in front of one from here till the end of May, if you get a bait in front of a big one, he will bite it. Cold front days don't matter. Now they will vary in their depth from, like I said, from day to day. God, I love the winter. I can come out here on a 10-degree day, and if I can get my rods to work and everything to work where it ain't froze up, I'll sit here and tell you that I'd rather be there on that 10-degree day than I will at 90. The only difference from where we're sitting at and we was when we first sat down is it's 15 foot shallower, maybe 20. I think I said I was sitting in 47, so the boat's sitting in 27. There's a hump out there, so my poles are sitting in about 20. And then there's a drop off like that. That fish was on that drop off like that. Right hand pole's getting piddled with. I see it's up in 15 foot of water, because it gets real shallow over there where I threw it. That's the whole reason why I parked here, so I could cover the whole spectrum. And I will say this, Asian carp's a good indicator in the wintertime, because Asian carp's gonna be what the shad is eating on. That could have very easily been the only two fish. It's going down slow right now. I knew he was gonna come off. That was about a 10-pounder. I felt him long enough to know what he was. He wasn't a small fish by no means, but he wasn't a big one. I'm gonna put her right back up in that shallow water a little bit farther away from the boat. As long as we sit here and get bites like this, I won't leave them. I would rather get a bite every 15 minutes that is a bite like that than get a bite every two because I was fixing to leave. It had been about 15 minutes since we got a bite. I don't like to sit over 30 minutes without getting a bite. But like I said before, you know, they might not be near as many fish here, but they might be bigger. There we go. I don't think he's quite as big as that other. How in the world do they get all tangled up like that? That's aggravating. I don't want to pull it up like that because I don't want it to crimp my line. Five, 6 pounder. 4, 5, 6, 4. Send him back so he can fight another day. Cut bait yet again. We're gonna give them about 10 more minutes. And if we don't get a good hard takedown or, you know, get a good fish on, then we're gonna make us a circle like that and come back and I'll show y'all what I look for whenever I'm looking in a place like this. Because matter of fact, I'll show you where I caught that fish and the reason why I parked here. Unless we find something that I like better, and then we'll park on it. Same thing. I don't feel like we need to get too far away from this unless we get on the other side of the generator chute. And basically what there'll be 4 or 5 big ones up here jacking around. Well, guys, it's time to go hunt a different place. I'll show you what I look for on the bottom. I'm gonna go up there and make a circle and come back. We're probably gonna park just a little bit closer to the dam and try it, but I wanted to. I think the little ones has moved in here. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna run through that place and show you what I look for. And then we're gonna have to find some heavier current because the wind's coming towards us. We'll probably be right back on a sunny bank. So we're fixing to run through where I caught that big one. All right, I'm gonna flip the boat around and show you. So we're in 40 foot of water right now. And see the smaller ones right there? That's what we was getting the bites on when we first sat down. We're going up on the bank right there to 30 foot. There's some small ones, probably Asian carp up in there. Right now we're running into some bigger fish. We're going up on the drop off, the ledge that we was fishing. And then it runs plumb up into some 25 foot. So basically we was fishing that ledge. And the shallower we go, the bigger the fish. Now then, I'm gonna go straight out. Straight out over the ledge. Just fish after fish piled up on that ledge. I don't see any great big old monsters, but that's all catfish right down to there. That's probably a pretty good one. No, it's 4 or 5 together. But that's what I look for, is a ledge with them fish piled up on them. So we're downstream or up towards the dam from where we was parked at. I think y'all was getting a good picture of my pinky finger. Them's catfish, them's active catfish. Not very big. A good rule of thumb is see how that's a big bright signature and them's kind of a lighter signature. That's how you tell the difference between Asian carp and catfish. We ought to park on them fish, but I'm not going to. But every time I park, I try to get on a ledge like that. That's where I've always caught good fish. I love the fish ledges and drop-offs. They just hang out there. Sometimes they're up on a hump. But we're going on down. Same thing, guys, but we're a little bit closer to the current. We got a little backwash going around just a little bit. Nothing we can't handle with 3 ounces of weight. And I'm setting them 44, and back behind me it gets up to 30. We're just a little bit farther. We're just a little farther away from where we was catching them a while ago. Back towards the generator chute. And I'm just gonna scatter poles right out there in that backwash where that's going back towards the bank. Now then. But see, that water coming out of that generator will be just a hair warmer too. I kinda hope that there ain't a lot of bites here. I'm looking for the big one. I don't want to be in a bunch of little ones. Left-hand pole. So they've all 3 got a bite. That is not good. We'll give them 15 minutes just in case I'm wrong and there's a big one laying there with them. If not, then we're going to not give these fish too much longer. We need that one just to keep right on a traveling. Left-hand pole. I see. Now he's acting like a little one. I can already tell y'all, there's too many little ones here. So we need to find the outside of this school, and then we'll find a good one. See, I don't think they're big enough to get that whole shad in their mouth. I think if they was big enough to do that, you would get them. So them fish is probably about that long. That fish was bigger than I thought it was. Boy, they must be hungry for them things to keep coming back for it like that. Boy, them would be good eating size. About 3.5 pounds. It won't be long till they really will be good eating. I like to eat them in the winter. I'll go to Barkley and get a bunch of them. I'm gonna throw it out there one more time. And then we're gonna move around a little bit. Well, guys, I think it's time to vacate this premises. I want to get back up over there, and I think that the wind has calmed down enough that I can hold the boat straight up in there. This ain't originally where we caught that big one, but it's close enough. And I got some Asian carp I'm gonna cut up. A little bitty old Asian carp. I wished I had 1,000 of them. I'm gonna cut it a little smaller than I would a skipjack. We're gonna give them about 20 minutes here. And if we don't get a significant takedown, we're gonna call it. We had our fun today. I've got my point across. Things worked like I wanted them to. It's a little piece of Asian carp. There's a dab more current here than there was up there where we was at. You want a little current. So even in the winter time, you want a little current. If it's just dead, then that fish has got to be looking for food. Well, with a little current, even a quarter of a mile an hour, it's pushing that scent downstream. So if there's a fish back there swimming, then he smells it and he's like, goes to it. So when I'm winter fishing and I say areas of no current, I mean little current. I just feel like that little Asian carp will do better than big Asian carp. So we know that pole's got shad on it. If these other two don't get a bite and that one does, then we know. And I know there's fish there. There has been all day. But shad's a lot easier to get in them little Asian carp that size. Asian carp. Asian carp. Neither one of them fish got hooked. So that Asian carp might beat that shad. I doubt it, but always makes me wonder if I'd have sat here all day, would I have caught another big one? So I don't think either one of those was any size. I'm gonna throw that Asian carp head way out there somewhere. I'm gonna look, see if he's still got bait on him. I already noticed something about the Asian carp. They don't keep after it like they do shad. We're gonna give them a good 10 minutes. And if we don't have a significant takedown, we're gonna call it. Because that'd put me getting home about dark. I still gotta gather up all my deer hunting stuff. We're going camping tomorrow, me and Aaron, up into central Missouri and spending a couple nights. I say central Missouri, about a little bit closer to south central, pretty close to Springfield. That big headpiece got nudged. We're gonna do something on it. I put the bait clicker on it so he can run with it a little bit. That could be a bad idea. But as short as they're biting today, I'd like for him to get a second bite on it. He got that headpiece, guys. And it's a tank. If he don't come off. Hopefully that helped leaving the bait clicker on. Good way to finish out the day. He ain't ripped no drag yet like that other one did. Well, he tried to then. There's something about using big bait that gets you all wound up when they hit. I don't think he's as big as I initially thought, but he's still a good one. So I ain't so doggone sure he knows he's hooked. I'm gonna get up here with him. I don't want to lose him. I usually baby these fish whenever they, but I don't know how the hook set is. That was a big old piece of bait. So I'm gonna baby him until I see him. He went down then. See, he might just now figured out that he was hooked. I'm just gonna take my time with him. Of course, any fish that I get a hold of that's I know's over 10, 15, 20 pounds, I'll baby regardless. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, is to catch the big ones. He ripped a little drag in. He's bubbling way back there. I seen his tail. I don't think he's all that big. It's a good fish. Ain't near as big as I thought he was, but it's still a good one. At least I got him in the boat and got to see him. See what hit that Asian carp head. Nice 10, 15 pound fish. Like I said, he ain't as big as I thought he was whenever he hit, but it's still a good one. When you're using big bait like that, you automatically assume that it's going to be a good one. Have to remember that trick with a bait clicker. Because I'd have never got that fish if he hadn't had that other couple seconds that remain in his mouth. And then again, you never know. He had it fully engulfed. I also hooked it through his bottom jaw where they was and nothing else. So he come and grabbed it and then he turned. I sure thought he was bigger than that. So don't kid yourself. He was a good fish, 10, 15 pounds. But like I said, whenever you get them on big bait like that, it's very exciting. Left-hand pole. It seems like the bigger ones has moved out there in the deeper water. I'd say what has happened is the sun has went behind the clouds, and I think he come off. The sun has went behind the clouds and caused them to move. Well, guys, it's been fun. We caught a couple good ones today. Always look for the warmest water you can find. Just think of it like anything dark down there on the bottom, which is calm water. It'll have mud and silt in there. That will radiate heat back up into the water. That brings shad in. That brings the whole 9 yards. From here on out, you won't catch them too often in current unless the water temperature is in the 40s and you have 5-6 days where it gets up above 60. Wish me luck on deer hunting this year. I'm gonna go try to kill a couple. It opened Saturday and I haven't had a chance to get after any yet. I wanted to come down here and do this today. As much as I work, I don't have a lot of time to hunt. Oh, I forgot I put the bait clicker on. See, that's the reason why you don't do that. I was just gonna cross that fish's eyes, see what happened. The end result is I don't have no fish on. I need to do a funny outtakes video. Of course, I'll probably leave that in. I will see y'all the next time.